Hello, good morning, students. Welcome to English class. I hope you all are fine at home. In this video, we will learn about a beautiful poem, The Squirrel, from your Honeycomb book, first unit, which is written by Mildred Bowers Armstrong. I take it for granted that you have learned the first chapter, right? So, before we begin the poem, let us know something about the poet. You can also call poetess since she is a female poet. A short introduction about the poetess Mildred Bowers Armstrong. She was born in 1901 and died in 1984. Her first volume of poetry was Twist or Smoke. And do you know, children, this poetry won her Yale Younger Poets Prize. So this small poem, The Squirrel, is one of the best piece of poetry written by Mildred Bowers Armstrong. This poem is not upon any theme, or it does not give any specific message. Rather, it is a descriptive poem. The poetess tells us about the physical appearance of the squirrel and its naughty behavior. So, starting with, we shall see the rhyming scheme of the poem, and to find the rhyming scheme, we will see the last word of every line in the poem. So let us find out the rhyming scheme in the poem. So the first line, the last word is tail. We label it with A, and if new sound comes later, we will label B, C, D, etc. And any sound is repeated, we shall label it with the same as earlier labeled in the above lines. So the next line, in which the last word is gray, right? So the word has got different sound, so we will label it with B. Next line, in this line, the last word is nut. So the word nut has got different sound. It doesn't match with the word gray or tail. Therefore, we label it with C. Line 4. In this line, the last word is play. Students, do you find this word matches, the sound of this word matches with any of the above words? Do you find? Yes. The word play has got same sound as the second line, the last word, that is grey. Therefore, we label it with B. And the fifth line, here the last word is tree and it has got different sound, right? Therefore, we label it with D. And the last line of the poem, in this line, the last word is way, and we can see that this word, the sound of this word is the same as the second line of the word grey, and fourth line, the last word, the word play. Therefore, we label it with B. So, the rhyming scheme of the poem will be, yes, A, B, C, B, D, B. Now we are clear about the rhyming scheme of the poem. Now we move on to the explanation part of the poem. He wore a question mark for tail. Here he refers to the squirrel. But how can a squirrel wear a question mark for tail? It means the shape of the tail of the squirrel is like the question mark. It is the observation of the poetess that the twisted tail of the squirrel looks like the question mark. Second line, an overcoat of grey. Here, overcoat is used for outer skin of the squirrel. If you have seen the squirrel in your real life, you might have noticed that the outer skin of the squirrel is very furry and of grey color, right? And also sometimes there are dark colored stripes on its fur. So the third line, he sat up straight to eat a nut. Now, over here, we come to know about the sitting posture of the squirrel while eating a nut. He sits straight while eating something, as you can see in the picture. The squirrel is sitting straight and eating a nut. Next line, he liked to tease and play. Now, in this line, the poetess tells us about the naughty behavior of the squirrel. She says that squirrel gets happiness when they annoy people. She means that the squirrel enjoy teasing people, but question arises how they tease. We will come to know in the last two lines of the poem. So the last two lines, and if we ran around his tree, he went the other way. The poetess says that if a squirrel is on a tree and if you come closer to him, he will move very fast and he will look back from other direction as if just he wants to tease you. So this was the explanation of the poem. Now let us see the literary devices used in the poem. So there are four main literary devices used in this poem. The first one is alliteration. Second one is assonance. Third one is anaphora. And fourth one is personification. We'll look at each one of them with examples. So alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of consonant sound in the beginning of the words. For example, here in your poem, in the third line, we see he sat up straight, right? So in the words sat and straight, you see the s sound is repeated. So this is an example of alliteration. You can see one more example in the poem. In the last line, he went the other way. Here, in the words went and way, the v sound is repeated. So therefore, this is an example of alliteration. Second literary device used in this poem is assonance. Assonance is also the part of alliteration, but in assonance, in place of consonant sounds, we consider vowel sounds. For instance, an overcoat of grey. In the second line, you see words overcoat and of starts with the vowel sound O. Therefore, this is an example of assonance. The third literary device is anaphora. Anaphora is repetition of one word in front of upcoming line. So let us see the example. In line 3rd and 4th, just read out. He sat up straight to eat a nut. He liked to tease and play. So, in these two lines, we see the word he is repeated, right? Therefore, it is an example of anaphora. Last one is personification. Personification is a poetic device in which non-living things, animals, and birds are treated as if they are human beings. Here, example of personification is she, the word he. She in this poem is used for the squirrel, but in normal life we use she for male person. So here the squirrel is personified by she. So children, these were the poetic devices used in the poem, but as we know, this poem contains no theme, no message. So that's the end of our lesson. I hope you have enjoyed it and learned the lesson very well. Thank you for watching this video. Be focused in your studies and keep learning.